good evening and a warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight you've been joined by myself, GB, and fresh from their haggis, neeps and tatties, you've been joined by JM and young Robert. How are we doing, boys?
Evening, GB. Evening, JM. Good to be back on with yourselves.
Yeah, evening both. Good to be back on. Good to have us back together.
That's it. The young team is back. I think me and Robert have been on sabbaticals for a while. Must have been something JM said, Robert.
I think you've had better ones than me, mate, to be honest.
Right, okay. Well, welcome back to the fold all. Lads, cracking game last night for the Rangers. Really pleased how it went, and just really want your thoughts to kind of kick off the show. So I'll go to yourself first, JM. Just your kind of overview of the first half, and we'll break it down piece by piece. But to kick it off, first 30 minutes, JM, I was a wee bit kind of nervous and hiding behind the couch. Your thoughts, mate?
Could have been a worse first touch to kickstart the winter break, could there? The first pass of the winter break straight out the pitch. I thought, oh no, here we go. I thought, here we go.
That's so true.
Yeah, and then obviously not a bad start. Nice ball over the top. Silva showed right away what he could do, couldn't he, with that close control? I think it was Suter that played the long ball. It was a lovely touch, deft touch right to him, won the corner. And then I think what epitomised what was going to happen for the next sort of probably 15 to 20 minutes in that half, wasn't it? We didn't really get our foot in the game. It was scrappy, and they got a half chance as well, to be fair, didn't they? Broke away. Butland done what he expected. But for summarising the first half before we get into the start of it, a scrappy start, but it definitely got better, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I totally agree. And we'll come back to Butland because some cracking saves in that game for him last night. Another take on the first 30 minutes. Like I says, I was kind of, like JM says, the first kick of the ball. I'm like, oh, is it going to be one of the nights? And especially the way the kind of first 30 minutes kind of started, it was a wee bit, I don't know, hands in front of the eyes for a wee bit. Your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, just pretty much echo what JM said. Quite kind of scrappy, but almost open at the same time. Where they get in behind a few times, and then ourselves had a couple of chances, some good movement from Silva, as JM touched on as well. But I think it was just that scrappy, and it did kind of have you biting the nails, wondering how the first goal was going to come. And the first goal was probably quite crucial at that point, and see who settles the game more. But a wee bit nervy.
JM, what was making me a bit nervous was that, see, we pushed up really high, and then we're leaving that kind of space into the back, and like listen back to kind of some of the interviews and stuff like that. It was kind of what the manager wanted. He wanted to kind of press them and stuff, but that's what was kind of making me nervous. But don't get me wrong, I think Butland had about three saves. It was one was near, two of them were near post in that kind of first half for Hibs, and done brilliant, didn't he?
Yeah, he done well, and I think if in hindsight now the game's won. If we maybe hadn't won the game and lost goals out, but credit to the managers and the players for sticking to it and going with it. It's obviously how they wanted to play. They want to be attacking. There's been certain comments before, like handbrakes off them. I've never seen it. The manager said before the game it'd be two attacking teams playing. There's going to be chances, and he was right. And we got a better chance and scored. And considering that we, maybe not now after some certain performances, but there was definitely maybe three out of the four back four, you'd argue, maybe wouldn't even be starters for us on paper if we had fully fit. And we still stuck to the plan. We went, against two strikers up top, and fair play to them. We done well.
I agree. Well, maybe what made me nervous was that the fact that, like JM says, it was two teams actually wanting to play football last night. I mean, let's face it, Hibs did come out and make a game of it.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's something, obviously, as you said, we've not been used to see. Usually teams play against us, it's that deep low block, and we're trying to find the penetrating pass or the ball in behind, whereas last night Hibs certainly kind of came out the chaps a wee bit, came in our faces, but we dealt with it pretty well. Obviously Butland had to make the saves, which again at crucial points he stepped up and been counted for, and that's all you can ask for from your goalkeeper. But it was quite an open game, as I said, and it was just that all important first goal. Who got it and when it came was the vital thing for me.
Aye, JM, the the Rabbi Matondo, see that one where he grabbed the ball down the wing and cut in and squared it to basically to Silva. I thought that was going to be the opener because it was a great bit of play, and Rabbi just needs to keep that kind of confidence going in him. I think that boy just needs a wee bit of belief sometimes, because the way he ran and just, like I says, just kept going and going and going. I just thought it was, like I says, got to be a perfect goal.
Yeah, I thought Rabbi, to be honest, Rabbi, the left side actually was, if you like, from a 30 minutes, it was scrappy at the start. I thought our left-hand side was, and maybe Sui fair to Silva as well, probably Silva, were maybe the only ones that was being positive, and maybe, if you like, for that section of the game, getting pass marks. I thought Rabbi realised he had their right back on toast. I think he had recently only just came back from a loan somewhere lower down, and you could tell Rabbi had him on toast, was taking him outside, drawing him in, knew he had him beat. And the same with Yilmaz. But yeah, I mean, if that doesn't give Rabbi confidence, especially his first half performance, nothing will, because he looked a player, didn't he, for start? And I thought for the first 30 minutes, until the goal, was probably our best player.
Mm-hmm. I know it was definitely positive. That's what I like to see him from. Just like I say, sometimes you just want to give him more belief. Robert, as we touched on there, the goal eventually comes on the 30 minutes with Yilmaz. Great bit of invention with Lundstrom.
It certainly was like a nice ball over the top, nice weight on it, and Yilmaz took a very good first touch and put it away nicely. But something I picked up on as well, when you said Matondo there, he drops deep and draws their defender out, which gives Yilmaz that space to run into. If Matondo doesn't do that, then the space isn't there for Yilmaz. So it's quite a well-worked goal between the three of them. And again, Yilmaz has been in the headlines for potential moves, but certainly last night, again, the commitment was there from him. He's got his goal, and even his interview after the game, he just seemed very pleased and happy to get the goal, and it was nice to see him up in that attacking phase, getting the goal that he's probably deserved of his performances the last few weeks.
It's been coming. Like he says, the boy's he's a positive player, Jayam, isn't he? He's definitely, it makes defenders, it makes when he goes forward, the defenders think, especially like I says, when we've got Rabbi, who's so pacey. I think like I says, they worry about him, but young Yilmaz has got the pace and power as well.
Yeah, he's direct, and also that right winger will give their right winger will give some fullbacks problems, and dare I say, would maybe give a couple of fullbacks in our squad some problems as well. But Ridvan done well a couple of times, especially early on. There was a time when I think the guy thought he could outmuscle him, and Ridvan actually managed to turn him, lean into him, and I thought was actually pulled back, but never got a foul. But yeah, he was positive. I think he's direct. He can travel with the ball, but also he doesn't mind sort of playing a long ball and in the space. And I think if he's got Rabbi in front of him, that helps as well, because if defences are forward, he's not afraid to play that ball round the back. No, to be fair to Ridvan, he's starting to put some performances together. He's had quite a few positive performances. Now it'll be interesting to see if he stays and if he's going to consistently put the performances together.
Yep. And again, after that, the game settled down for Rangers. I think, Robert, right up to the half-time mark, I think we were, like I says, very positive. Silva, like I says, makes some good runs. It's just, I think the way it was set up with Cosland, Cantwell, Silva and Matondo, I think they just need time, Robert. I think that forward line just needs to be settled and for them to build that understanding, because you could see at times last night, like I says, I think Cantwell played a ball in for McCausland, but he just wasn't aware of it, kind of thing. And then that'll just come with, I think, time with, like I says, hopefully consistency, all of them staying fit and getting game time together. You're
right, mate. You can see the ideas that they had, and they weren't far away from pulling them off. And if they do pull them off, you're in to towards goal. You've got a great chance half the time. It's just that partnership coming together. Silva's obviously a new boy in his first competitive start, so he'll take time. And then obviously Matondo, we know he's got the qualities. He's not had the run of games previously, but with Sima been out for the 2 to 3 months now, it's a chance for him to kind of take that position in jersey as his own and start it. And we know what McCausland can bring, and Cantwell, we spoke about him on Monday night, about bringing more to his game and seeing a wee bit more of what he done last season, and he's certainly done that last night, I felt.
So it gets right up to probably the kind of one of the talking moments of the game is where Cantwell basically gets WWE on him. I think that's the best way to put it, JM, at the after the two Hibs players and basically gets fired into the Hibs manager. It's a bit of a heart in the mouth moment because I thought that was him injured, mate. I thought that was him got to get substituted.
I'm not afraid to admit, when I saw he might have had to have come off, I wasn't too disappointed after his first half an hour, 40 minutes.
I had a feeling about that.
I've got just what he wasn't in the game, was he? I mean, if you're being honest, he just couldn't get himself in the game, whether he was running around maybe too much or just nothing. Nothing was coming towards him. There was even a few times he maybe could have been picked out, and people for whatever reason just went the other way, just how it going. He wasn't able to get into the game, and then when he did give it, maybe just trying to do a bit too much because he wasn't getting the ball, was losing it. I must admit, when he did go for, we'll get a bit of lucky and we'll get Lawrence on him, we might improve a bit, and then, well, thank God I was wrong anyways for the next 2 minutes.
It might have been the kind of fire in his belly, Robert, that Cantwell needed at that moment in time, because, like I says, he got up for that. I think even the manager was raging with the challenge, and I tell you something, that the anger, hopefully he can just take that into every game, because the way he took that goal, I mean, it was an angry shot, wasn't it? Well, for me, my opinion on it, I think, like I says, he just wanted to bust that net with that shot, and like I says, the celebration kind of added to it, I think.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of power behind the shot. I was actually surprised never get yellow carded for the foul on the manager, if I'm being honest with these referees, but that's a different story. But no, a great goal. Good bit of play by McCausland as well, and then the turn, and it got his shot away quite quickly as well. It didn't let the defence come out and try and put any pressure on him. He just turned and fired into the back of the net, and the keeper actually had no chance. And as you say, the celebration, it says it sort of all. He was getting the jeers from the Hibs support, and they certainly silenced him and drowned out the sound.
Do you think, Robert, they maybe silence some of their own support a wee bit? We are very critical of him, but I think it's only because we know what he can do. Like say that goal last night, we just need to see more of that. The boy has got the talent. I think we just get sometimes frustrated and we lay it all on his shoulders at times.
We do, but when he got the ball last night for the goal, that's where you want to see him. You want to see him in that natural number 10 position on the edge of the box, drawing players out. Whether he gets a shot away and gets a goal is a bonus. If he draws players out and creates gaps in behind for Dessers, Silva, McCausland, whoever it is running in behind, that's what you want from him. You don't want him picking the ball up on the halfway line and trying to drive forward and not have anyone in the space that he's vacated, because nobody picks that out really. You want him as far up the pitch as possible. So he probably has silenced a few of us in saying, this is what I can do. But as supporters, we need to see more of it. We compare it to last season. We just want that wee bit more from him this season. Whether he's been kind of an injury or not, we don't know. I said it on Monday. I don't know if there was a full understanding between him and Clement. I hope I'm wrong and he kicks on and gets that kind of confidence from that goal.
Graham, you want to add into that? I think overall the two goals in the first half came at the right time, and I says obviously Cantwell's kind of showing what we want to see basically.
Yeah. I think to be fair to Cantwell, like a few of them, they're starting to produce numbers and that maybe over time. He scored a good goal away at Motherwell, didn't he? And then home to Kilmarnock, right, just before the break, and then obviously that again. So if you start going back games and competitive games, anyone would say Cantwell's on a decent run for scoring, and no doubt he's maybe picked up an assist or something in that as well. So fair play to Cantwell, that the numbers are starting to come. And I thought that was not obviously the perfect start to the first half as a team, but the perfect start in regards to a scoreline, considering we seem to have this sort of voodoo after a winter break. So it was quite settling to go in at half-time 2-0.
Yep, and Robert's a different team talk, isn't it, at half-time, especially for the opposition as well. Perfect time to score. We go in 2-0 up, and like I says, I was surprised with the substitutions coming so early, but I can understand maybe Cantwell's one. Don't want to risk him. Raskin, we've learned obviously that there was something going on with his foot during the game. Maybe it makes sense now when you're watching him in the game in the first half last night that there were so many stray passes for him. It seems to be a consistent thing for him. That sometimes his passing's not great, but but obviously we've learned that he just wasn't at the races last night with how his feet were. Robert?
Yeah, on hindsight, mate, probably did. In terms of getting the goal early, in the second goal before the half, it's that safety net, that extra blanket of a bit more comfortable start to the second half. In terms of the Raskin, was he maybe came back a wee bit too early and he's picked up a niggle? Possibly, but he's a top quality player. We all know he can do something, but his distribution since he came to the club has probably been his weak point. We want to kind of improve that, and there's no issues with him going off because he brought on Sterling and we know what he's been done the past few weeks. So a steady Eddie in that midfield next to Lundstrom.
And Jim, it just shows you we're going to the second half, and again, Hibs start quite positive, I think, in the second half, and we're kind of showing our kind of strength and depth in the bench. Lawrence comes on and Sterling comes on, and to be honest, the boys held their own, and we kept the shape, kept the attacks going, and that's back how strong our bench is.
It gave us a bit of a taste, what a different sort of beast we could be if we had a full strength squad. Obviously, so you got after last week's, we're looking at strengthening different places, but with everybody being fit, it gives the manager options. And yeah, like you said, they had 2 minutes and 2-3 minutes where they went for it hell for leather, but big Super Jack comes up with the goods again, doesn't he?
Aye, fantastic. And by the way, Hibs had the kind of 2 chances, didn't they, in that second half that you would think they were going to put it away, but big man was just awesome again. Scott Carossis, I think we've been joined with Stevie. You there?
I certainly am. Nice one, Cyril. Nice one, son. Big Stevie bet we Andy, and Big Stevie won. Come on, Big Cyril Dessers, what a goal! Stevie Andy was a battery, wouldn't he work? He's 2 negatives. Man, he slaughtered Big Cyril, and I told him Big Cyril will grab a goal, and by the way, what a goal, lads, wasn't it? How cute a finish was that?
Nonchalant.
Fantastic finish.
I'll pass you to my Dessers expert, young Robert. Thoughts on Dessers?
Not going to lie, I thought there was not enough power in it to go over the line, but thankfully it did. But it was quite a good move and finish from him, to be honest. He started off with putting the pressure on the keeper, making him do that terrible kick out, and then the way he takes it by the goalkeeper and defender and just slots it away very nicely. But quite calm as well, to be honest. It wasn't rushed
Robert,
at all.
I says on the show on Tuesday, I says, look, we've seen the worst of the big one. I think he's only going to get better. And I was kind of laughed at. And that's why I put the $5 up, thinking what somebody would snaffle it. And we Andy sniffed around about it, but he didn't take the bet, to be fair. But listen, the big man scored in every competition. We need to give credit when it's due, because we're at the big man apartment when he does the day. The 2 guys are dummy and stuck it through the keeper's legs. See if any big name player does that, you're talking about it more than in the night. And that goal last night, that was cheeky, man. You watch that a couple of times with different angles, that was cheeky. That was a great finish. And then below and behold, he gets a 1-on-1 with the goalie, and unfortunately it hits the keeper. The big man's always contributing. He's not as bad as what we're all maybe making out. Yes, he should maybe scored more, but what centre forward that we had in recent history that does Super Sally, my hero, the guy I grew up with, all through the 80s and 90s, he missed goals, he missed sets. The bottom line for me now, we've got a boy there. We can either keep ripping them apart or we can get behind them. And hopefully the boy gets a bit of confidence. And I'm wanting to plead to the Rangers radio support and the big station serving the nation. Let's get behind the boy. Let's get behind Big Cyril. Nice one, Cyril. Nice one, son. Come on.
The songbook was brilliant last night, Stevie. I got to admit, I did enjoy some of the other tunes that were getting sang, especially at half time. I did capture something about you only sing when you're in a certain place, which was funny last night as well. So I did enjoy it.
Stevie was starting these songs. young and Big Stevie was up the back with his bottle of that. What do you call that pink stuff? Oh, magnificent it is. We're on the shots, everything. It was magic.
The Disco Chris as well.
Fantastic. Huh?
The Disco Chris as well.
You know, the old discos come out on the rolls and chopped pork. By the way, don't knock a roll and chopped pork, by the way, guys. Don't knock it. Brilliant. But listen, the Teddy Bear's done well. And there's not a Rangers man alive when they took 3-0 before a ball was kicked. We went out there, done a professional job, got the 3 points, and we're a wee bit more closer to the one eyebrow brigade. So let's just get behind the team. Let's unite. Let's get behind Gravin. I've got them now, and let's get behind them until we get a couple of more signings. And I thought Fabio done all right for the wee while he was on the party. Before he was robbed out a penalty, do you know, like so?
Oh God,
yeah, 100%. That referee was constantly giving pushes against him, and he was only giving out what he was, dishing out what he was taking. It's as if they're allowed to push him all over the place, but Fabio wasn't allowed to lean on him.
Aye. And by the way, boys, I've only got one eyebrow because somebody next to me lit a flare off and it burnt my eyebrow off. Myra Hurley's gone nuts. But anyway, listen, boys, keep up with good work. We are the Rangers, and if anybody hears for that, he's the only guy in Rangers Radio can get his legs to his passport photo. But tell him I want my fiver off him, okay? If we Andy comes on, tell him Big Stevie's gunning for him. Good night, lads. All the best, and God save the Glasgow Rangers. God bless the Glasgow Rangers.
Cheers, Stevie. Thanks, mate. Oh, some boy or Stevie, I am.
He is. And by the way, some stats, isn't he? Mate.
I mean, both of you come in this. Well, I've got to bring up Dessers. Obviously, had his wee interview last night and that as well. But he's. Let's face it, if anybody new does come in, it's the challenge is down to him to keep the shirt into it. So maybe, like I says, with Silva coming in, he's had to up his concentration and his quality and stuff like that. And last night again, he shows it. Jim, for me, that says we're touching on in the second half. I didn't want to go too early with his goal, but it was a fantastic goal. It's a wee bit of mistake for Hibs, but again, Rabbi had to make the pass, and I says Desser's just so cute with that. I mean, I says they 3 Hibs players didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, well, I was also screaming square it because on the telly, obviously, you couldn't maybe see the angle he had it, maybe a little bit caught in between his foot, but Lawrence had a tap in, didn't he? And I was just thinking, just square it. And then when you see the ball and like Robert said, he didn't look like it was going to go in, and you start thinking, oh, what's he done? But no, he's just scored another world-class goal, hasn't he? Like it's what it meant. It's a beautiful finish. But no, fair play to him. That's 2 competitive games since we come back, and he scored 2 goals, and I don't know if that's even a total of 90 minutes he's had on the pitch. I know one was against Martin, but stats are stats.
Aye, and like I says, I think he's definitely starting to settle down. I think he's quietly going about his business, Robert Dessers. I think he's kept his head down. He's not really listened to the noise and stuff like that. And like I says, us as fans, I think the jury is still out, but if he keeps performing the way he is and keeps scoring the kind of goals, I think what annoys me is that he does something amazing like that, and then, like he says, maybe 10 minutes later, he just kind of either blazes one out of the bar, or he's probably got an easier chance and can't put it away. I just think that he just needs to, I don't know, just keep the quality coming for us.
Just a wee bit more clinical finishing in front of goal. And if you think about the amount of chances he has created in the right area, if he puts more of them away, he's probably closer to 20 goals this season already. And he's already got 11. And that's with the performances he's had. But as Big Stevie said, he scored in 5 competitions and 11 goals scored between all of those. I don't think there's another player in the world that scored in the 5 competitions. So he's doing the work. We've seen his work rate. He's good off the ball in terms of he kind of runs his corner pretty well, but obviously he gets judged on his goals. But he is banging them in just now. I say banging them in, but he's getting the goals when it matters in big games. And the more goals he gets, I think he'll get more consistently clinical, and it'll produce more confidence from him, which then sets the challenge for the others that do come in or are in the squad to produce as well.
I agree. Right, we're up to half an hour in, so we better get these phone lines open. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Still enjoying that new wee jingle, it's brilliant. JM, I think the second half, as we touched on just before we started talking about Dessers, apart from probably I would say that maybe the first 5-10 minutes with Hibs, it was all one-way street for us, I think. Sterling had a fantastic second half. I mean, I know he's not doing as a central midfielder, but I tell you something, that boy is growing into that role. He was just, even last night, he won the ball, he lost it, and then won the ball back. He just never gives up, and his challenges are so good. Like, he doesn't cause fouls with his challenges. That's what I like about it. Like, he goes to win the ball and he wins the ball. So keeps our attack going and stuff like that. I just think, like I says, and if he stays with us, I think he's got to have a different position, because I can't see him, like I says, pushing Tav out the road as it stands now. I just think he's better in the centre of that midfielder now. And the way Raskin's playing and Nahum Cifuentes, I just can't see them grabbing that shuttle now. I think it's Sterling's.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. It's the first time in ages since I can remember in a Rangers midfield where if Sterling's playing, you've suddenly got the quickest and the strongest man on the park. We've always seemed to sort of sacrifice that in the middle of the pitch for some reason for a long time, and kind of forgotten about the physical attributes you need to play in our league for some reason in the midfield. You know, he's big, he's strong, and also see the way he was knocking the ball about, considering, you know, maybe someone just maybe see him as sort of a journeyman and they're running around. Some of the switch, he done one switch to Matondo. It was unbelievable. He just sort of flipped it out his feet and everyone thought he was going to cross it. He just done a 50-yard switch and he was knocking it about like he'd been playing in midfield his whole career. And you just think, fair play to him. And when some of our midfielders in the past have made it look harder just to string these simple passes together.
You've hit the nail on the head, Jim. That's the thing. Like, there's been boys coming into that position and they have made that position look hard. Whereas he's came in and he's not even, like I says, been touted for that position, but yet he can come in and make it his own. He's calm in the ball. He knows when to challenge. I mean, he breaks up play. He drives forward. I mean, he's just so well suited to the Scottish game.
Yeah, and the pace is just such an asset as well. No one's getting away from him, and no one, when he does spring away, no one's catching him either. You can't underestimate just how big of an asset that pace is in the middle of the pitch.
That's the thing, Robert. I'll get your thoughts on Sterling. Just as James says, see when he's breaking away, see any boy trying to get that ball off him, he's just a big, huge unit, isn't he? It would take I think it would chop him to get the ball off him.
Yeah, right, mate. It's the strength in him and his power, his speed, the way he covers the ground. It's quite interesting to actually kind of sit and watch, because he said himself that he's, as a right back, he's more defensive minded. So you can see the qualities when he is playing in midfield in terms of tackling, closing down, winning the ball back. But bringing the ball forward, pinging passes left, right and centre, that's a side that even he admitted that he's not his strongest point. And credit has to go to Clement to see that he did have the qualities in him and to put him into the middle. Okay, you can say we were short in numbers and there was no one else, but you had to go and play the position, and he certainly grasped his opportunity. And I'm with yourself, I don't think there's anyone that can take that jersey of him at the minute. We know what Raskin can bring, what Cifuentes can bring, but they've not shown it consistently the way that Sterling has in such a short period of time. So I think midfield is going to be his position going forward. Even once Tavernier leaves, I don't see Sterling getting dropped back into a right back position. I think it's midfield for him for us.
Jim, you want to add, mate? I think, like as Robert says there, that it's like consistency. Raskin and Cifuentes are they've not been consistent, but yet that boy's came in. He's had player of the match and all that in the cup final, and I says he's grasped it. He's just, like I says, he's never looked out of place when he's came on to play for us.
No, 100%. I think, especially with sort of people coming back from fitness and different things, it's definitely going to be rotated. But I think when it comes to a European night, it's his shirt for them boys to take off him. And at the moment, I think if you're lining up, I know it's a long time away, March, but at the moment of these guys, I think Sterling would be picked in there, and I think it says a lot. And maybe a warning to the other guys, maybe just to step it up a little bit, as that is supposed to be a right back.
Mm-hmm. Aye, no, I think so. I think Raskin, sitting maybe watching that second half, I know, let's say what the manager's saying, he's carrying a bit of an injury still, but I think Raskin watching how Sterling's performing, that's what we need after Raskin. Raskin's got that. We've seen times where he's won the ball back, stuff like that, but it's the passing, it's the next moment, it's the next push forward that he's sometimes just not consistent enough with. But aye, we'll soon see how that develops. With Tom Lawrence, another great performance, I think, for him, especially for him coming back for injury, Robert. And he's very, very unlucky with the VAR decision. To be honest, I thought it was a perfectly good goal.
Yeah, I think pretty much half the support even thought it was a good goal. Obviously, the other half of support at a point were heading for the exits, going for the bus home, and leaving the empty seats. But the way the VAR line was through it was a bit questionable as well. It didn't look bang on as well. But we can sit and talk about VAR all night, and that would be a show on its own. Again, it would have topped off a performance for Lawrence coming back again, getting the goal. But again, it's two substitutes that have contributed as well. Lawrence obviously gets the goal chopped off. Dessers comes off the bench and scores. So it's that squad depth and quality that we now have that you spoke about earlier on. It's going to be crucial for the second part of the season. And Tom Lawrence is certainly going to be part of that, as long as he can stay fit.
Hello.
No, well said. Hello, is that yourself, Joe? How you doing?
Sorry, mate. Who's this?
It's GB from Rangers Radio, mate. That's it, mate. You're live. What's your points, bud?
Oh, I'm sorry. My point is, right, see the way the manager is building the team now, right? I reckon he's setting up well for Europe and a good European run. Hopefully we get a favourable draw in the next round. But even if teams like, I can honestly say this, even if teams like Ajax or even like Bayern Munich are playing in the Scottish League, they wouldn't be winning every game by the way we are refereed against and the way we are up against here in Scotland, as far as I know. And I'm not being paranoid. The facts all stated, mate. You know what I mean? Like, the way we be refereed to other teams, and basically what I'm saying is, if our manager can manage the team the way he's managing it now, and we get a favourable draw in Europe, and they get good signings in, and they hit the ground running, he could be on for another semi-final, European semi-final. I just want to know what the panel think.
I'll take it on, Robert. I think Joe makes a good point. It's maybe a couple of signings will help us go on this European run again, mate.
Yeah, certainly, mate. The window obviously shuts in 6 days' time, so we've got some time to get some business done. And any addition that's brought in is hopefully going to help in the squad in terms of quality and the numbers. Europe, been playing away, Clement goes about the business. He respects the competitions we play in. He respects the opposition. But the way we've been playing, you just have to go in with it with confidence. And I don't think we're going to go any different to no matter who we get drawn for Europe. So it'll be interesting to see, obviously, once the draw's made, when the first leg's at home or away, who it's against, all they'll be taking into factors. But the way we're playing just now, you have to be confident into Europe.
And Robert, JM, I think the squad, there's certain players in the squad that do shine in Europe, as we've touched on, Dessers, Cantwell, Ross McCausland as well. I think they've all shown that they enjoy Europe. Rabbi Matondo as well is another one. So we've got players there. I just think we need to try and stay injury free. JM?
Yeah, 100% agree. And also, with the manager how he's set up in Europe already, the away game at Prague, different things away at Betis. Really trust this manager to set up a team to who we're going to play against. Even the game last night, he deliberately set up attackingly, knowing that they'll play two up top. He's setting teams up to play against the opposition, which I like. I agree, though, maybe need to get a couple more signings, because one of the players you did miss out there was Big Seema. And I think he's been vital to how we've been in Europe and being successful with his work rate up and down the left-hand side. And also his physicality. And I don't think that's easy to replace.
Joe, you want to come back in, mate?
I will. You guys made a lot of good, valid points there, right? But I think it's down to... I don't think most Rangers fans appreciate what we've got here with this new manager. He has the real deal, this guy. And I reckon he'll go into bigger and better things after Rangers, right? Hopefully he'll win a few leagues with Rangers, maybe gets into a cup final. This guy we've got a diamond here, boys. And we've got to try and keep him. Obviously, there's going to be a few bumps in the road. The guy's been there for, 17 games or something? He's lost one. And
I agree.
This guy, and I think he is the sort of manager that could bring us to a different level. And we need to keep on going with him. I know 99% Rangers fans are back the guy 100%, but we need to keep on backing him 100%, because I reckon he's got to be a different level, and I'm talking leaving Celtic behind eventually, which we are the people, know what I mean? We are going to leave Celtic behind eventually, and this guy's the sort of guy that's going to take us there, I think. And I know I'm a bit nervous now, because I'm not used to being on the phone, mate. I'm a passionate Rangers fan, and I do believe we've got a proper manager there that's going to bring us, hopefully, God willing, to a different level. We're all going to be thankful for it. That's what I'm saying.
No, Joe, you're doing brilliant, mate. Like I say, you're more than welcome to phone in any time, buddy. And the points you're making is valid. Like I say, Europe is very, very important to our club. Like I say, the money that can bring in will, like you're saying, will help Clermont bring us to that next level. Because let's face it, as much as we're wanting the titles and we're wanting silverware, Robert, it's the money that's generated through Europe is what's going to help us build a team, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, certainly, mate.
Keeping that guy there. Sorry for putting keeping that guy there for as long as we can, because we have struck gold with him. I know it's early days yet, and people say, he's no, obviously he's won the League Cup. It's only cup has been offered to him, he's won it. And the way that guy is stepping up that team with a lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck, a lot of wrong decisions going against us, one way or the other, he's still been the driving force behind Rangers going on to bigger and better things. And I truly believe that, guys. I do. I think we've got a proper manager there for a start. It's been a long time coming since Walter Smith, you know what I mean? All right, Gerrard came in, he done well. This game is due, but after that, things weren't good. This guy stepped up, and he brought us, within 4, 5, 6 months now, I think it's 5 months now, to a completely different mindset. As fans and the players and all, they've all bought into it, and it just shows you what you can do if you find the right person at the right time. And I truly believe Rangers are going on to bigger and better things. I honestly, truly believe that, guys.
Joe, what I'll do, I'll take your point on like the manager, and you're talking about Gerrard there, and I'll go to JM first. JM, I think as we touched on with Gerrard, we won the title, and it was just we were set up to just do the next push. I think Gerrard even said it's time to push through the ceiling, and he didn't get the backing from. I mean, he got players, but I don't think Gerrard fully got the backing, and I think Clermont now has got credit in the back. I think the board really do need to back him. We've got probably a lot of restrictions in amongst there with financial fair play and, like I says, how much money we can actually spend and stuff like that. But I think the board need to do the best of their ability to help back this man. As Joe says, it's been a long time since we've actually had a proper manager on board, and I think if we give him the right tools, then we could see, like Joe's touching on, good European win and hopefully some more silverware. JM?
Yeah, 100%. I've also got no reason to believe that if we can't back him for whatever reason, that this board's not going to back him. There's different things, getting the right players in, would have been 2 Januaries ago, wouldn't it? We thought we had the best window ever and we were going to win the league and Europa League with signing, Diallo, Ramsey, and James Sands, and then it ended up being a really depressing year, didn't it? So you got to make sure you get the right players, and I get that, and not spending money for the sake of it. But I also believe that this manager loves the game that much and loves a challenge and conducts himself the right way. If he got told this is who you're left with, he'd get on with it. And that's what I mean. I don't want to be just left with this. I believe we need to strengthen, but I back this manager and confident in this manager with whoever he's got, to be honest.
Robert, our manager likes to solve puzzles, and certainly the biggest one he's solved so far is, like I say, organising a team that looked dead in the water.
Yeah, it's completely night and day to what it was when he first walked in the door, isn't it? There was no confidence, there was no relationship on the park. It seemed very disjointed and just very flat. And within a few handful of games, that had gone. You could see the lift in confidence, the belief, the understanding. And that, again, as I said, it's only a short period of time. If you can do that for the rest of this campaign and then on to next season, we're certainly going to be going in the right places, Joe says. In terms of backing him, absolutely. He needs the backing. And again, Europe is where the money's made. But for me, this season, we get that league title. We get into the Champions League. That's £40 million right away. The Champions League format is changing, that you're going to have 8 games rather than 6. So there's 2 extra games right away, which means extra money. And if we're in that Champions League group or league format the way it is going to be, the more teams come to Ibrox, the bigger teams, the more revenue, the more money. And that can only enhance the player trading model, the players we bring in, the quality, everything. So it certainly is going in the right direction. But the bread and butter lies for me for the Champions League. The Premier League, to get into that Champions League and get the money, which brings the better quality players.
Joe, anything you want to add to that, mate?
Well, I would like to ask the panel what happened over the last maybe 4 years for Rangers, their coefficiency in Europe and Scotland, right? When it comes to the Scottish football, we've run out. We've outplayed everybody in Scotland when it comes to Europe, right? Is it the way we're set up now? Is it the players we can? Is it the players we can get? We've just punched above our weight in Europe since Steven Gerrard came. Let's be honest, right? Because Giovanni got us to a final. I know it was Gerrard's team, but even last year we got a bit of bloody nose in the Champions League, but we still went into the Europa League and we done all right. But this year we beat a team like Real Betis. We scored 3 goals against them at home. There's no Spanish team this season, or probably last season, is went over there and done that. What do you think the formula is for us to achieve that, boys? Do you think it's good management, luck, setting up the right way? I don't know, but every time Rangers play in Europe these days, I get excited because I know, all right, we might fail, we might fall by the wayside, but we're going to put up a fight, and they never ever let us down in Europe, Rangers. What do you think of that, boys?
I'll take it to JM.
Steven Gerrard's game.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that I think what it shows is that, that at times when we slated the players, that we've actually got very good players that can compete at the level, but maybe at times just not prepared consistently to do it. in the SPL when you've got all these teams playing what they like to call the low block. I think it shows that, you know, these certain players that have maybe been getting slagged or that in the past can, when they step up in Europe and they play teams that want to go toe-to-toe, or maybe when we're the underdogs, you know, we're good players in space. Even last night against Hibs opened up against us. We win 3-0 and, to be honest, look comfortable. So I think what you're seeing there is maybe a team that, or a squad over the last few years, that when teams are willing to open up against them, we're dangerous. We have been dangerous. We might be a little bit open at the back, but we'll score goals. But maybe it's a result of just struggling in the last few years domestically to consistently break down the so-called low block.
Robert, you want to add to that, mate?
I just think the European nights, whether it's at Ibrox or away, they hit differently, don't they? This is why players come to the club. They want to play in these big occasions, and Europe is certainly that stage for them. They obviously want to go and show what they can do as an individual, but what we can do as a team. And as James says, when teams open up, then that's the way we like to play as well. We like teams attacking us so we can use our strengths, get in behind, using the fast players on the wings, no matter what team that is, whether it would be the current squad or when it was with Gerrard or Gio. It was always more promising for us watching the game when you've got two teams going at it, because you always had confidence that we were going to score goals, as James says. So that, for me, is the difference. The players want to shine on these big stages, and that's what they come and do. Teams like Ross County and Motherwell, you know how they're going to set up. It's a low block, as James says, so a big, open, expansive game of football, and you can see the real qualities, and that's what we're going in the right direction. We've certainly go toe-to-toe with anybody. We've beat Dortmund, we've beat Leipzig, two big German giants. We shouldn't fear anybody in Europe at all.
Joe, can I ask you a wee question, mate? It's just basically to kind of touch on what you're saying there. We're doing well in Europe and stuff like that, and as young Robert's saying there, we don't really fear anybody when we go into Europe. We always seem to bring our best performances there. What is it about the domestic side that we need to improve, mate? What do you think? That is it the manager's got to bring a better mentality, or I mean, why is it that we can turn it on in Europe, and like I says, the domestic side we seem to struggle sometimes?
I think there's a lot goes into the mix here, right? As I touched on earlier, and I know it's a bit erratic about it. We're kind of, and I know there's probably Celtic fans listening in the now. We are referees a different way, right? There's probably Rangers fans out there that think I'm talking shit, right? I'm sorry, right? I'm talking.
Yeah, I cared, mate. Yeah, I cared.
Right, I'm sorry about that, mate. Right, but the reality is, but that is not an excuse. That is a Rangers way. That should never be an excuse. But it does give you the hump. It does give you the hump. But playing in Scotland and playing in Europe, the players we can attract, as the English boy said, they're coming here to this country and want to experience this. They want to experience the heard Rangers are good in Europe and that. They want to do this, but it's hard. No, I mean Rangers are a big fish in a small pond, and all they've got to do, hopefully, every season to win the league is beat Celtic more than Celtic beat them. But the way things have gone with VAR, even at that, it's a scam. But I'm not on here to talk about that, guys. Right? It's a really hard one to answer, mate. What's the difference between Rangers in Europe and Rangers in Scotland? It's a tough league, let's be honest. It's a tough league. And as the boy says, we play a low block every single week, apart from when we play maybe Celtic. That's the only time we don't play a low block. And it can be draining, it can be hard for guys that are used to playing competitive, free-flowing football. It doesn't happen in Scotland. But as I said earlier, I'm just on here to talk about Rangers in Europe, right? I'm going to go around the panel once more.
Aye, of course, mate. Fire away.
Right. I know it's hypothetical now, right? I've got a lot of confidence for a lot of reasons. Rangers are going to do well in Europe this season. We have a favourable draw, right? I just go down the panel and say, with a favourable draw, how far do you think we could get potentially? Right? I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to go semi-final stroke final. That's another, 2 games, 2 rounds? Mm-hmm. I'm not confident the way Rangers play Europe. I would stick my neck out, right? I wouldn't put my mortgage on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rangers got to the semi-final stroke final this season. With a favourable draw, I know it's hypothetical. How far do you think we could get or potentially get, guys?
I'll go to JM first. JM, I think it could be written in the stars, considering where the final's going to get hosted this year. For me, the way the squad is now, and us trying to challenge on all fronts, I would say we'd be doing very well to get to a semi-final again. That's my call on it. JM?
Yep, I would tend to agree. Another round, even I'm not sure. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you who's in the draw apart from us and maybe Liverpool. But a glamour tie and concentrate on the league, and then that would do me this year, to be honest. But I agree with Joe's optimism. There's no reason why this team can't with this manager. But maybe a glamour tie and concentrate domestically for me this year. If I was to paint, the perfect picture would be to win it, wouldn't it? But for me, the perfect would be glamour tie, bit of money in, get on the telly, and then concentrate on the cup and the league.
Robert?
I think it's going to determine what happens these next 6 days of this window, mate. The squad we've got now, we've seen they can manage it. A few additions in. As Jim said, if it's a glamour tie or if it's a favourable draw, a draw like Joe's asking, I'll say minimum semi-final, but depending on who we get in these next 6 days, there's no reason why we cannot continue the form we're on under Clement and go and win it. I'm going to stick my neck out and say we could win it, mainly based on the impact that Clement's had in such a short space of time. And you imagine what it could be like in a few months' time. It's written.
Agree. Joe, I think as well, the manager has made us hard to beat. So there's every possibility. I just think that we need a few things to align, mate, for us to get there. But I don't know, would you want us going on a big European run, Joe? And then it affects our league campaign as well. I mean, are you more leaning towards that you want to get to the final again, or what it says, do you want to totally focus on the league? Is the league more important to you this year than Europe?
No, to be honest with you, mate, I would leave that decision up to the manager, right? If he thinks the league's more important than Europe and he acts accordingly, plays the squad and the team the way where his priorities lie, that's fair enough, right? I'm not saying the getting to the final of the Europa League is the holy grail of this season. Obviously, is the league, because that gets us into the Champions League next year, right? Obviously, that's it. We want to win the league. I would if I could put all my eggs in the one basket and say, right, you get to the final of the Europa League. Obviously, if we win it, we automatically win the Champions League. But if we don't, no, we've got to go through it. No, definitely the league is the priority. But the way this guy's got us playing now, and I'm no over exaggerating or whatever, it's unbelievable. It's scary. I don't think I've ever felt this as a Rangers fan for a long, long time, how much potential is in front of us in it. I'm not saying we're going to win everything. We're going to run amok. We're going to know. We're going to have a few wee bumps in the road. But the way this guy's got us, with a team that's struggling with injury, he's playing a lot of players out of position. and he's still getting the results. There's no criticism. It's all happy. It's all good. And this is him with half a team. What's this guy going to do with a full team and his own signings? It's scary, but it's good.
Well, that's
I'm
the
happy,
point.
and I'm sure every player is listening to this tonight, boys. Is as happy as hammer.
Aye, well, it started last night, Joe, for me. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a 3-0 result and we're back to 5 points. You know what I mean? So the mentality that I was touching on earlier, this is what the manager's installing in. I think there is a mentality change because, let's face it, years gone by, we're going into that game last night knowing that we need to win it to cut the deficit. It could have been a slip-up. You know what I mean? And we didn't. We went out there and done a professional performance. But I'll take that around the boys now. JM, thoughts again with mentality shift and like I say, a professional performance last night.
Yeah, mentality shift and hunger, wasn't it? It was good to see Clement keeps going on about hunger and how every game's got to be the same, which, all comes from the manager, and it's spot on, isn't it? Like I said, I think a bit earlier, I've had a bit of voodoo after the winter break. I think, the headlines are already written, maybe hoping going away to Easter Road, which, by the way, you look back, it's been a long time since we've lost to Hibs anyway, so I don't know why we were scared, but there's always that thing when you come back after the winter break. And no, it's good, like you say, you hope we get the opportunity to make it a level playing field in regards to games played, get that down to 2 points and see where we go from there.
Robert?
Yeah, just on the mentality, mate, you could, as I said earlier, you could see the difference between what it was now to what it was when he first came in. He's made every single player feel involved and included and showing that he believes in them. And it's just about them believing in themselves. And that's when it comes down to their own personal mentality. But they've certainly picked themselves up and dusted themselves off since he's came in. And bar the draw against Aris at Ibrox, and obviously the defeat to them, there's been no doubts that there's been a massive improvement in the squad. We were sitting here talking about how's anyone going to get a tune out of these players, and he's certainly playing music to the ears just now, and it can only continue. It can only continue.
Joe, do you think it's the manager's attention to detail? I mean, you hear about him with the analysis, and you even hear about him with this transfer window. He's getting text messages at Oils. He just wants to know everything that's going on and stuff like that. And like I says, he heard in the summer camp, that he was sitting talking to players till 11 o'clock at night and stuff like that. So I think there's no stone unturned with this manager.
I'll tell you what, this guy is the real deal, boys. He breathes, eats, sleeps football. He even says openly on a mic, my family are second. Football's always first, right? And if football's always first, Rangers are always first, because that's his team. He is in charge of us, right? Even looking at his managerial record, it's brilliant. It's up there with probably one of the best. The only kind of blip in his horizon was his last management turnout with Monaco. He got them for, I think it was, I believe, 9th in the league when he started, and they got them to about 4th or 5th. I think he got them into Europe, and the season after that, it kind of didn't happen. Right, but he's came to Rangers now. He's learnt a lot. He's a real deal. He's wanting to go on. And you can tell this guy has got something about him. The players obviously have bought into him right away, which is important. They see something we don't see as fans. They see him at training. They hear him talking one-to-one, what his goals are, what his achievement, what he's all about, what he wants Rangers to achieve. All these players are bought into him. Even the ones on the fringes, when they've come on, the ones that are playing out of position, they've all stepped up to the mark. That's not luck. It's not hard work on the players' behalf. That's what down to the manager. It's saying to them, this is the way it is, boys. And you've got to give him a lot of credit for that, lads. You know what I mean?
Yep. Joe, I need to cut across you, mate, because it's 9 o'clock. It's tune time for us. But thanks for giving us a call, and that's as much appreciated with the points, mate.
I'm very, very grateful, guys. God bless you, and keep on doing what you're doing. You're a good value to the Rangers family. We love you dearly. Thank
Speak
you.
soon, Joe. Cheers for that, mate. Thanks, bye.
Cheers, buddy. Ta-ra, mate.
Right, boys, get yourself on mute. It's tune time.
All along the walls of the Ibrox halls are pictures of legends of old, making history for the world to see. The stories of glories unfold. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through. Well, the legends come and the legends go, but Rangers live on just the same. For a new one's born when the blue shirts won, and we all remember their name. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through. And there is no doubt what we're all about when we face the world and say, bring it on some more, 'cause you know for sure that we don't do walk away. We don't do walk away. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Hey, Joe, we're back.
Yep.
Robert, I seen the day a wee post for the Rangers Charity Foundation. Do you want to expand on that, mate?
Yeah, mate. So today it was revealed the amount of money raised from the Ibrox sleepover, which was obviously done back in November, and 180 bears slept out in Ibrox between Friday and Saturday, and have raised a whopping £49,000 for the Rangers Charity Foundation, which obviously is going towards Glasgow City Mission to tackle homelessness and the Simon community as well. So a great effort by all the bears out there, and personally I'd just like to thank each and every one who donated to myself for doing it. I thank you very much, and your donation will certainly go a long way to helping those out there. So thank you once again, and again, great effort from the bears.
Aye, well said, Robert. I mean, congratulations, mate. It's good to see that that number getting raised. It's hopefully it does help people in need, and again, hopefully we'll see you next year out at it, mate.
I'm hoping I've got a sleeping partner next year for it, if MD volunteers.
Oh, well, maybe we'll way to do that. Way to round up the Rangers radio team and maybe do a night all together. That would maybe be a good wee laugh. Jim, you're right up for that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Answers on a postcard.
Put it out to the listeners. I'll get a poll on. Who do they want to see sleep in Ibrox next season? Or next year?
Right, well, I'll pass that to Terry and the techie team. Old School Blue, get that up, mate, and see who's got to sleep next to Robert next season. Give them a couple of options, Old School, and see what comes back. All right.
If it's Big Stevie, I want a pie.
Oh, you'll be well fed, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Disco Chris and everything, and was it chopped pork rolls?
Chopped pork rolls, right?
And that Rosie shots as well. I think he was on. Some boy, brilliant though. Right, boys. Another announcement for Rangers today, which was from Stephen Davis, that he's decided to retire. I think we all kind of knew that because time was going on a bit that it might have been inevitable. But you just don't want to really see that kind of news. You wanted them maybe back just to kind of maybe finish off a season, or let's say be back in a room amongst the team just to do a bit of coaching or something like that. But not great news. But we've got a wee interview from, so have a wee listen to that first, and then we'll get your thoughts on them. All right.
Stephen, just congratulations on a fantastic career. An emotional day, I'm sure, and just put into words the last 20 or so years and why this decision's come now.
Yeah, it's a strange sensation today. Ultimately, this has been back in my mind for a little while now, just with the nature of the injury and my age and everything. But obviously, hopefully, you'll get back to play and finish on a high. But I think probably about 4 weeks ago, I did some testing and realised that I was still a little bit away. So that's been in my thought process, and I think it feels like the time's right. I'm comfortable with it, but it's still a bit of a weird sensation today. And listen, it's all I've ever known. It's all I've ever wanted to do, and I've been very fortunate to have the career that I've had. Yeah, just describe your 2 spells here at Rangers, what you've won along the way, but most importantly, the teammates that you've shared those experiences with as well. Yeah, of course, there's so many things. It's like, obviously, in the back of my head today was coming, so there's a lot of different emotions and thoughts go through your head about previous experiences, and my mind's almost a bit foggy because of it. And it's I remember obviously coming in 2008 and the end of the transfer window, and then we had that incredible run in Europe, and that took us to Manchester, and obviously my first experience of playing in Europe, getting my first goal in Europe, winning my first trophy. So yeah, just an incredible experience. But as soon as I came to the club, it felt like home. I settled in really well. We had a great bunch of lads there, obviously under Walter and his management team as well. Just a great atmosphere around the place, and thankfully over the next few years and that first spell went on to have a lot of success, and just memories, like you say, those moments you share with each other in the dressing room, behind the scenes, the work that goes in, just the dedication you have to show and the ups and downs throughout the season to get that success come the end of the season. It's such a special time. And the connection, obviously, that you've shared with the Rangers supporters along the way, I mean, it's been really special in so many ways, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been incredible from the very first moment I walked through the door. I feel like they've got behind me, they've supported me. Listen, obviously through your career, and I've been here for over 9 years, so you're going to have bad moments within that there, but I've always felt that support behind me, and I'm forever thankful for that there. Listen, the fans pushed us on as players, and they have done throughout my time here at the club to really go and have that success. And when you do have that success, it's very much the two married together. So it's incredible. Like, I don't feel like I ever took for granted walking out of Ibrox and walking down that tunnel, because it's such a special stadium. Obviously, growing up as a Rangers fan as well, it's something I always wanted to do, and to do it as many times as I have, I feel very grateful and thankful. But obviously there's been a lot of hard work and dedication going on to achieve what I've achieved. Yeah, you mentioned there, obviously growing up as a Rangers fan, then going on to represent the club, win all the silverware you did. I mean, it's really the stuff of dreams, isn't it? It is. I would like to have won more. I felt we should have won more, especially in the second spell. But unfortunately, that's football. There's highs and lows, and but it's been an incredible journey to get to 2 European Cup finals, to win the trophies that I have, and have those moments with the fans and within the dressing room with your family after the game whenever you've achieved something. It's just such a special football club, and I'm certainly going to miss it. That goes without saying. But I've had an incredible time here. If you could pick one moment from your Rangers career, what would it be? Couldn't possibly pick one. There's been too many special moments, as I say. The journeys to the European Cup finals, winning the league at different times, at the last game of the seasons, in the manner that we did 3 consecutive years, and obviously coming back and then getting 55 together when there was a lot of pressure on the club, and first trophy for a lot of the boys as well, and just sharing that together. There's been far too many to just pick out one, but I just feel very fortunate that I've been able to play for my boyhood club, and it's been such a special club, and it's about the people around the building as well that you forge relationships as well, and I'm certainly going to miss everybody.
Yeah, and obviously on the international stage as well, representing Northern Ireland, becoming the most capped British player in history. Just to sum up the memories that you enjoyed in the international stage as well.
Yeah, I think when you're growing up, ultimately you want to play for your boyhood club, you want to play for your country. I had ambitions to play in the Premier League. I've managed to do all three. I never expected my career to last as long as it has, and play for my country as many times as I have. It's been an incredible journey. Plenty of highs and lows within the international career as well, but it's just been an amazing experience. I've always enjoyed going away with the international setup and being together with the boys, and obviously that culminated in us qualifying for Euros in 2016, and memories that I'll cherish forever and will last with me forever.
Yeah, is it good as well that this decision does provide some clarity and can now go and enjoy more time with the family and the kids as well?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't decided in terms of what I'm going to do moving forward. It was obviously an unbelievable experience to come in and get the interim manager's job, even though it was very short-lived, and then work alongside Philippe whenever he came in. And at that point, I wanted to have a real crack about in terms of doing my rehab and giving myself the best opportunity to get back and play. Unfortunately, that hasn't unfolded quite the way I would have liked, but I felt like I needed to do that to give myself some closure. And I think in the immediate future right now, it's just about spending a wee bit of time with the family, taking up some opportunities that I'm sure will present themselves, and then figuring out what way to go, and obviously get started with my coaching badges as well, and then look to go down that path.
Yeah, and just lastly, I'm sure it'll be on the lips of every fan, but can you see yourself back here one day in some capacity?
I certainly hope so. As I said, it's such a special place for me and my family because we spent so much time here and have so many special memories here. As I say, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to be back watching the boys, supporting them, wishing them every success for the future, and hopefully they can go on and have more success after getting that first trophy of the season already. And I think they're on the right path, and just need to keep that determination within the group and keep pushing each other on a daily basis, and hopefully there'll be more good moments to share together. But yeah, although I'm leaving, I'm sure I'll never be too far away, and listen, who knows what the future holds in terms of a position at the club.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's it. It's a phone-in show, so do what Joe done earlier. Call in, give us your point, and I says let's discuss the Glasgow Rangers. Let's discuss Stephen Davis. Let's discuss the game last night. Be great to hear from you, boys. What a career that man's had. Basically ticked nearly every box. International caps, played at the highest level in the Premier League, silverware. I mean, captain Rangers, managed interim manager of Rangers. I mean, it's just what a career. And I really do hope that like I says, he gets back to a kind of fitness state that he can actually come back to Ibrox and have the proper send off he deserves. Jayam?
Really is just a legend, isn't he? Everything, just optimising everything that, being a Rangers player should be. Always conducted himself well. Like he said in his interview there, it's hard to pinpoint a memory. So many stick out for somebody that, wasn't known for scoring goals, scored a few important goals, won league titles on the final day, came back, got us to 55. Just a legend, isn't he? Just a hero. Probably, from the age I'm at as well, probably maybe, you talk about players that you hear of and that before, obviously watched Ferguson, but probably might even be my first Rangers hero, to be honest, Stephen Davis. Gotta be.
I know, Robert, it's crazy when he said 2008, that's 16 years ago. Wow, for the young team, it's kind of that way. You're like, oh, what did the 16 years ago? But what a career. And that first spell, he was a different player, Robert, wasn't he? He was quite an attacking midfielder and scored goals. And what I says, he had the ability and this is the will to win. But I feel the second time he came round, he just came back with so much experience, and probably I wouldn't say it was his best season when he came back at 55, but I think it was probably one of his most influential seasons for us. That probably helped us win that most important title, I think.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, mate. The experience he brought back the second spell, obviously when we got him, the first spell was still relatively young in his footballing career. Again, at that attacking kind of midfielder winger at times. Remember him playing out on the right hand side in the European run, and then coming back second spell, the experience he just brought for the players that were in that squad at that time, youngsters coming through. What an unbelievable man to learn from. Honestly, the word legend gets bandied about a lot, but certainly he will be known as a Rangers legend. His professionalism on and off the park is second to none. He said himself he wished he had more success at Rangers, but what he did do was phenomenal. And as JM said, he won leagues, won Scottish Cups in the last days, scored some few important goals at times. But what an unbelievable man as well, a top professional. And for any young footballer who's looking for a role model, I don't think you can look past many people such as Stephen Davis. He's been a real credit to the club and himself. It'll be sad to see him go, and hopefully he gets back to Ibrox in a capacity where he can say goodbye properly, whether it be at a game or a testimonial. I think it'd be really nice to have.
Robert, I think a testimonial hopefully is definitely going to be in the pipeline. I think Ox has even banged that drum that is a perfect setup at Ibrox, and maybe even an international team coming there as well. You never know. But I think we need to give him a proper send-off, because there's no many, Robert, Rangers fans, Rangers players that have went to 2 European Cup finals, won the trophies that he's won. I mean, and I says he's part of 55, and no matter how we say it, that's basically one of the most important titles that you could ever have. You know what I mean?
He's made history. Again, international stage, he's set the most capped British player. That's something that will hold for him for his life until it gets beaten, or even then it's still in the history books. Being part of Rangers' 55th winning title, 2 European Cup finals, as you say, the space of 16 years apart. I don't think he would have imagined that in his wildest dreams. And then obviously winning the leagues. I think it was 4 leagues, 3 Scottish Cups and 3 League Cups he's won. So a very dedicated player, and quite an illustrious career that he had. And again, certainly one that I think will be missed around the stadium and the dressing room. But I'm sure, as you say, they will be back to cheer on the lads, and I do think he'll build back in some capacity as well. Whether it's a coaching role, as you say, he's going down that route, and amongst the academy, and what a guy to learn from.
Well said, mate. JM, I agree with Robert. I don't think the phone will be quiet. I think it'll be red hot, actually, to be honest. I think there'll be even media duties, I think, that people will be trying to get them involved in as well. I agree with Robert. I think we should have a guy like that running about the club. He's always went quietly about his business. He's never had any major headlines or anything like that. Even when you look around, like all the managers that have managed him, top pros, everybody speaks highly of him. That just shows you how much that he must, like when he was coming into training and stuff, how professional he was and how dedicated he was to the game. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I think even Clement. I don't know if you've seen the other clip, but I think the door's open for Stephen Davis if he wants to come back in tomorrow and starts working. I just think that shows how he conducts himself. I think it's up to Stephen Davis what he gets to do next. Like you say, if he wants to meet, he seems to constantly mention coaching. So hopefully it is, and hopefully it's involved with us, because what a man. And I tell you what, in his peak, I genuinely believe that he could have played for any team in England when he went down there. He was that good. He was so good. There weren't many teams that he could have got in the team. He was such a good player but obviously when he came back to his 55, he was slowing down a bit and he became a class act. But what a player.
I think you touched on it. He was obviously, like you says, one of your kind of probably earliest heroes, and you'd probably have, at that time, the kind of Walter Smith period, JM, you would have enjoyed a lot of even the Old Firm goals that he scored, like I says, I'm sure he scored in the cup final as well during that time. There was a goal
even the header, even that header that set Lafferty off down at Kilmarnock that day. Even that was a bit of class for a header. That kick started it all, sending Lafferty in after whatever it was a minute. even stuff like that, you don't realise if you went through it all, the highlight reel, it'd be incredible. You forget about half the stuff. The first goal memory is the sliding in against Werder Bremen when the keeper made a bit of an arse of it. And that made us 2-0, and that was it when he slid in. But when you look at a lot of his goals, it was kind of like he played in that right midfield. A lot of his finishes were a bit like Arfield's at the start, sort of running in late and whatever. And then obviously when we're not gonna replace Davis again. I think we noticed when he came out of the team in the 55 season, we were looking for somebody to be on the ball like he was, and you've just got to accept that you're not gonna replicate that and look for someone else. But what a player!
Yeah, Robert. Anything else to kind of add to Davis? Like I say, there's not much else you can really say. The man's career's amazing. Like it's especially for being a Rangers fan as well. Just so many boxes been ticked.
No, his career speaks for himself, mate. And again, as you said, a young boy supporting the club, going on to represent them 2 spells, and then becoming the manager. Although it's probably wasn't the scenario he thought he would be in, becoming that manager for that period of time. I'm sure it was a great honour for him. So all the best to him, whatever he does, and a great servant to the club.
Well said to both of you. So that says, as a phone-in show, if you've got any points to add to the Stephen Davis retiring, then please give us a phone, 0141 356 1972. Come in, like I says, make your point and just tell us, like I says, memories that you've maybe had to him, and like I says, your hopes for him. Hopefully, like Robert and JM says, hopefully he's back at the club. Hopefully maybe even coaching the youth. I mean, that would be great. I mean, but like I says, it goes with our best wishes, and like I says, as Oxford says, don't be a stranger. Hopefully we see him back soon. Boys, like I says, just kind of touching on the current squad and stuff like that. You've seen Davis saying to them that he's quite optimistic about how they're going to perform. I think he thinks Clement's the real deal as well. So there's high hopes there for this squad so far. And like I says, last night was a big kickstart for me, especially, I think you touched on it, JM, coming back after a winter break. It could have been a bit of a slip up, but totally professional. And we went in there and a big 3-0 result. I mean, it's looking back at it, you're like, oh, that was easy. But let's face it, it could have been a harder game. And it could have been, like I says, no 5 points. We could have still been sitting the way we were. I just think it was well played with all the team. There was probably moments we could critique it a wee bit, but apart from that, like I says, everybody came in and done their job, JM.
Yeah, 100%. It only seems easy because the players went out and done it. We're quick enough to slate them. If there would have been a draw or something last night, we would have been slating them. But credit to them, they've gone out there and got the job done, and starting to close that gap. They've been criticised of not closing the gap on occasions, but halfway there of closing that gap come the weekend. We're aware there's a title race, but just making sure everybody else knows there's a title race on as well.
Well said. Right, I'm going to bring up one of the players we talked about earlier. He had a press conference last night, so let's hear from nice one, Cyril.
Cyril, congratulations again. Feels like we're here quite a lot talking about your goals, but that was a really special one, that third one, and the first time the fans have sung your name. How did that feel?
It's not the first time. It happened already at Ibrox, but obviously it's a really good feeling to hear this and to make them happy with a goal and with a win. Good win, I think.
And what did you think about your goal personally? It looked like a fantastic finish when it opened up, but instead of rifling it and having a real, you've just rolled it into the corner.
Yeah, I think what comes before the goal is something we practice a lot during the week when we recover the ball to play the first ball forwards. Rabbi did it amazing, and then into the box. Yeah, it had to go fast because the defender was coming, the goalkeeper was coming. I saw him like in corner of my eye, and then it was I think a little bit of instinct from a striker not kick it hard, or I don't know, but just like put it next to him. And it was a really slow ball, so it was a little bit tight, but it went in, so I was really happy.
Do you think there's more pressure on you because Abdallah Sima has picked up this injury and people are looking to the likes of you to perform week in, week out?
More pressure on me? I don't think so. I don't feel it that way. I spoke with the other wingers, and I said like, okay, Abda is out now for a couple of weeks. Now it's your time to shine and to pick up his goals while he's not there. And if I see today already with Ross and Rebbe both getting an assist, working on the stats, I think that's only a good thing for the team that other guys fill the gap and perform.
What do you feel about the pressure that's on you? Because one week to the next, because it's such a big club, it's Dessers is a good player, Dessers is not a good player. You must hear it.
The pressure, the pressure is always there at Rangers. It was from the beginning there, I spoke about it with other people as well. Like at a certain point, you have to embrace the pressure, otherwise it kills you. And I think that's what happened for me the last months. And now you have to appreciate it. I played at other clubs where the fans, it doesn't matter that much when you draw a game or when you lose a game, but you don't want that. Actually, you want the pressure. You want this the people who are like committed to this club, who care about the club. So actually, I like it, and I think we should embrace it, all of us.
Are you getting better? Do you feel as if there's more to come from you?
No, definitely. I think I'm growing the last month. I think especially since the new gaffer came, I've been growing. You can see it also in my stats, in my performances. But I think there's still more to come, and I hope I can show it in the next weeks and months.
So in terms of the pressure of the title race, this is one of your 2 games in hand. You cut Celtic's lead at the top to 5 points. Can it be a big night for you psychologically in the changing room, that you're starting to hunt them down, trim their lead at the top?
I think the gaffer has a nice metaphor for it. Like we're not looking at it as a sprint or like, oh, we have to win this game. No, we're looking at it as a marathon. Probably in the next months we will lose points at one point. They will probably as well. So we don't have to be fixated too much on like one game or this game has to be this or this game has to be that. I think we have to look at the long term and just perform every week in, week out, and then we'll see what happens. And then hopefully with this game, indeed we are coming closer, which is a good thing. Hopefully we can put the pressure a little bit up, but we're focused on ourselves.
How much does Rabiot coming in help you with Danilo and Cantwell being out? It was in that competition for the starting team. What do you think of them as a player?
I think competition is always good. I think the other guys, I hope to see them soon on the pitch again or in the games with us. And I think we have to push each other. We are the strikers. I think it's maybe the hardest job in the team, but we have to be there for each other, for the team, push each other, make each other better. And I hope all of us can score goals and be important for the team to help us win games, because that's why the striker is there, and especially at Rangers.
With the results that you guys have had, there must be a growing confidence and belief that, with all the competitions coming up, that you guys can compete in them all and in the end go on and really win that title. There must be that confidence within you guys that you can do that.
No, the confidence is there, that's for sure. We believe in our abilities and what we can do, not only technically or tactically, but also like mentally. We are a strong team. Even if there's a setback or a difficult game, we can bounce back. We can come back from any point, and I think that's a good thing. And it's good that there's a battle for the top spot, and I think we have to enjoy that and keep it going what we are doing now, and then I think we will be very close.
The Rangers fans are sitting and chanted your name before the season. I think that was the first time we heard that Cyril Dessers song. Did you like it? Were you aware of it? Have you had a song before?
I've had some songs in the past, of course, especially at Feyenoord or at my other clubs, but it's like I say, it's a nice thing. I love it. If I hear it, it shows that they care, that they like you, and I hope to be important for the team, score goals, and hopefully we can hear the song a little bit more.
Okay, I mean, a decent interview. He has had a lot of criticism, Dessers, but Robert, I think JM touched on it earlier. See, when you look at stats and stuff like that, I mean, he's had some cracking assists and he's had, like I say, some really good goals. It's just, I think if he scored that goal in the Old Firm there recently, then I think a lot of the fans would have had a different opinion on him going into this transfer window. I still think we do need help up front in this transfer window, considering the injuries we've got up top. But I really do hope he grows. I really do. I hope it keeps coming. I hope the assists keep coming, and I hope the goals keep coming because, like I say, we're going to need him, Robert.
We are, mate. And I checked the stats earlier on. He's got 18 goal involvements in 32 games, which doesn't sound bad at all. 11 goals and 7 assists, but as you say, some of those assists have been some of the balls through. I think was it one that he put through to McCausland on an absolute plate, split a defence open. It was an absolute beauty of a ball. He's got that in him. We've seen the goal against Betis. He's got the quality, but it is just that consistency of being clinical. And as you said, he can have a great moment in 1 minute and then be a rabbit in the headlights the next. But again, I think that just boils down to confidence, and I think the more game time that he gets, the more goals, but the more involved he is in the game, he'll breed that confidence, and it can only be improving for him. And getting a song, he's right. Once you get a song that's you're kind of liked by the fans, and it's been a big shift. I think there will still be ones out there who want more from him and still want a striker in, absolutely, but he's still scoring his goals, and that's the important thing.
Well said. Jim, I think what I've noticed since Clement's came in with him is that his positional play, it's been really good. Even last night, even Tom Lawrence's goal for the offside. So when you look where Dessers is, he's right at the back post. So if Lawrence wasn't getting to that, Dessers was right there waiting to tap it in, hopefully. I mean, and I've got no qualms about his effort because, like I says, he's no scared of hitting a shot. Like some of the shots at Dumbarton, man, like poor man, McGirdon was picking the balls out. He's Girding constantly, but like I says, he's got something. I just wish he would eradicate this kind of hesitancy. Sometimes when he's 1-on-1 with the keeper, if he just bury the ones, I think you could be easily touching 20 goals off him. JM.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe that's still just a slight confidence issue. Everyone's thinking of one chance, aren't they, in that game there over Christmas? But we had a striker that we loved for 3-4 years that struggled to score against them. Boyd hardly ever scored against them. I just think the whole, he didn't have the best of starts. Nothing was working for him, the link-up play, or he was struggling to finish. And he was just sort of like a part of the Mick Beale package that everyone was hating at the start, but now since the new manager's come in, he's had a fresh start, and since the managers came in, you can only give him pass marks if you're giving everyone a clean slate from there. And long may it continue, like you say. No, there's no reason why he can't go and hit 20 goals.
No. Robert, and the thing is about him, where I'll give him his due as well, he's fit and available. I mean, I think probably apart from the start of the season where he was trying to get his fitness back and stuff like that, I think he's always been available for us. So he's another player that we can probably rely on. Like if you look at the rest of our strikers, I mean, they're always either on the treatment table or something like that. Danilo there's not much you could really do about the injuries he's had, but I says when you look at Dessers and that, been fit, available, and I think like I say, somebody else touched on it that he's scored in nearly every competition this season and stuff like that. So hopefully, like I say, there's more to come. A couple of weeks ago, when the jury was right out for me, I just think we really just needed somebody better. But it's amazing, isn't it? With Silva coming in, Robert, the game's been upped again, and I think Dessers knows he does need to be showing his quality to stake a claim in this team.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I think that will even be added even more if we do bring in another forward player in that position. But again, as I said, GB, he's getting the goals. It might not be as many as we want in one game, but he is scoring them. And you talk about his positional play, it does seem a lot more central rather than kind of running over the place or jogging over the place. It seems to be a lot more a vocal point up front, somebody to kind of hit. It's more suited to him, I think. I didn't think he was a lone striker that could do all the chasing about and going from left to right. He's more centralised, and that's what you kind of want from a striker. Somebody in the box just to put the ball in the back of the net. And again, it's probably going to become with confidence for him, but also consistency of who's around him. The likes of McCausland, Cantwell, and now it's going to be Matondo, we reckon. So I think the more he plays with a three behind him, he'll understand him more. Silva will obviously come in as well in games, and it's about up to him to push Dessers forward and kind of make it a challenge for who is up front. And there's nothing to say both of them could play at the same time either.
No, I agree, mate. I agree. Aye, like a good interview as well, JM. Like I says, the boy, he's always talked positive about the club and stuff like that, and he's always
seems like such a nice guy, doesn't he?
Aye,
he's like such a nice bloke.
That's why I there's a bit of me that hates criticising him as well because of that, because he's never once took the huff or anything like that, considering all the heat and criticism that he's took and stuff. But like I says that when you look at it, the goal like today, I say some of the, I think even was it the Champions League qualifier that the boy put through to Rabbi Matondo? I mean, you can't be a bad player if you're playing balls like that. I mean, it just needs to be, like I says, more clinical up front for me. And maybe in time he might be that number one striker. You never know.
Stranger things happen, don't they? Like or the same thing. Maybe we're saying we've been overcritical, cautious of not getting carried away. I think we could do a highlight reel of his Dumbarton chances, and we'd be called idiots, wouldn't we? Of saying he's going to score his 30 goals. But maybe it's just a simple product of also the team's playing a lot better now, aren't they? As well, there's not as much pressure. Maybe there's a slightly better atmosphere around the place. The defence isn't shipping as many goals as such, so the pressure isn't on you to finish as much. This all adds up, and again, like Joe was saying, maybe just credit to the manager for getting this team together.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing as well. Right? You need to be very lucky to sign a striker and for him to come in and hit the ground running. I mean, the markets that we're shopping in, we are going to be signing guys that are kind of up and down. It's up to the manager and the backroom team to kind of, like I says, help these guys and develop them and stuff like that. And Clement's doing a fantastic job. In hindsight, you wonder how Clement could have managed Dessers during the summer if he had the summer training camp as well. Going into that season, I think probably looking at it now, you would probably say Dessers would have probably had a better start, a better maybe understanding the team and stuff like that. Because that's what you're seeing now. Even like say last night, you're seeing Dessers getting an understanding with his teammates running about him, and hopefully, if we stay injury free with this squad, that will breed more goals for him.
Yeah, as I said, mate, it's consistency from him as being a striker, but consistency in terms of who's fit, who's available, and who is the regular starting 11 that you could name off the top of your head. It's a squad game, and we obviously will have the squad depth on the bench, but if you know you're starting 11, and if Dessers is the focal point of that, let's remember as well, Clement has come in and he's not been scared to ruffle a few feathers. He's sent Sam Lammers out on loan, who's only been here the same amount of time as Dessers. If Clement thought that Dessers wasn't up to this challenge, I dare say he would have put him up for the loan market. Doesn't mean there's any suitors for him, but it certainly wouldn't have been hesitant, let's be fair. So he's obviously seeing something in training and knows that he can do something with this squad with Dessers being part of that. And as long as Dessers is scoring goals, then you can't really drop him, can you? Even if you bring somebody in.
No. And as Big Stevie says, I agree. I think we need to get right behind the team. We need to, like I says, every home game, we need to be pushing them on. And like I says, every player that's kind of maybe having a dip before or whatever, we just need to keep backing them because, let's face it, look at the way John Lundstrom's playing now. Granted, he's out of contract and stuff like that, but I tell you something, it just shows you, into you give a guy some confidence and look at the player you end up getting. So, long may it continue. Jim, anybody else that kind of stood out for you last night that you were impressed with, mate?
Yeah, well, you touched on Lundstrom. He was good, but also I'd like to see everybody's thought on how Big Suter played. To be honest, I thought at first it looked, but considering he hardly plays in that, I thought he'd come in and done a great job. To be honest, I thought he, just done what was required. Didn't look too uncomfortable. just for for somebody that's not consistently playing and obviously is aware that at the weekend, bearing an injury, Golson's going to be back playing. Thought he'd done really well.
No, I think I agree, Jim. I think he had a steady game. I've not been his biggest fan this season because I think he has been hot and cold, but I think as Port Bears touched on previously is that it's the same with Ridvan. You need to give these guys games, and it seems to be, Robert, when you give these boys a run of games, they start to show their quality.
They do, and what was probably important last night for Suter was he was playing on the right side of defence when he's obviously usually playing on the left beside Coulson. So he was in this favoured more right side, which probably gave him a bit more confidence in showing us what he can do on that side of the park, because let's be fair, it's Coulson and one other. Now, you've got Suter and Balogun, who got a clean sheet last night, available for the weekend, so it's about who you put in next to him. I think we'd all kind of agree that Balogun will probably get the nod based on what we've seen, but again, if Suter gets a run of games and can show some form and link a partnership with Suter, he's certainly got the attributes to be a big player for us going forward. He's a young, physical boy, and he's not afraid to put in a tackle or go for a header. He's very well kind of suited to the set pieces as well, an aerial threat in both boxes. So I like John Suter. It's just unfortunate that he has been playing on that left-hand side of the defence, which has probably been uncomfortable for him at times, although it's maybe not looked at.
No, Robert, you did make a good point, mate. I think that it could be the position, JM, isn't it? I think we sort of it has been played on that kind of left side, and anybody that's been on that left apart from Balogun's looked a bit shaky, to be fair. So this is last night we probably got to see the real quality. I know players should be able to play anywhere and all that, but like I says,
yeah, but I think it's unfair, isn't it, for a right-footed player to be on that side all the time? Like you say, they're professionals, but it's not natural to them, is it?
No,
it's not fair. It's not fair, is it? And filling in for a game's different, isn't it? But just coming in, that's not fair. Just reading there, he won 100% of his tackles last night, 100% of his ground duels. I don't know what the difference between them and tackles are.
Hi, you've reached Craig. Obviously not.
No, I'm sure the caller will join us in a couple of minutes, mate. On you go.
We've had someone hang up on us. Yeah. And yeah, one goal block as well. That was the one in the second half, wasn't it, when they tried to get a handball? And then that was it when it hit him in the chest. That was a decent block. I mean, I don't like these stats, but when they read well, they read well. That's good, isn't it? Like, it's a good performance from him away from home.
Well, let's face it, Jim. We see when you're seeing the attacks for Hibs and stuff like that. There wasn't any. As much as I was saying I was hiding behind the couch, sometimes there wasn't really any shaky moments, and you've got Big Butland there organising as well, and it seems to be a good.
While you're saying it, the only shaky moment maybe in that first half really was that free kick. What about the free kick that ref gave when the boy took the dive or fell over when he nutmegged out? How did that end up a free kick?
There was, even when you looked at the VAR decisions and stuff like that last night, again, it's wild, isn't it? I mean, let's face it, like, what more can Tom Lawrence do with that fit? I mean, Clement touched on it, centimetres, and I know that this is the rules of the game are saying it's offside, but I don't know. I mean,
when you look at the line on Twitter, I've only seen it on Twitter, it doesn't even look parallel with the 18-yard box.
No. You there, Brisbane Bear? No, he's away again. Well, but mate, you touched on some of the decisions last night.
Hi, just picking up the VAR line, you could even see on the angle it showed you, it's further out on the near of the box than it is at the furthest away one. It's a completely squinty line. It's not even straight. Whether they do it with a crayon or I've no idea. But again, it's that blade of grass, and I know VAR's there to improve the game, but it's things like that are key moments in games. And although it was 3-0, it should have been 4, and it affects goal difference obviously, but the excitement of that decision, getting a goal, I don't know if it's not clear and obvious, is it? Because the referee obviously didn't blow the whistle for offside, the flag didn't go up. So is that clear and obvious because it's a win blade of grass? Not for me. So I think you have to go back to the olden days of give the striker the benefit of the doubt in those circumstances. If it's 2 or 3 yards offside, of course, but when it's a blade of grass, not for me.
I wouldn't mind so much of it. I don't know if it's just maybe obviously it was a Rangers TV, but at least with the Premier League and that, it seems to be you're getting a decent straight line or something, and it's quite obvious and you can see it. And if it's tight, so be it. But you're just getting told it's offside and you're seeing a random line. It might have been offside, but you still can't see it, can you?
No, it's like they're using a Atari, like to load up the image or something like that. I mean, it's mental. And again, I think even the Motherwell one, remember the Motherwell line that they drew? It was like, as if they took a screenshot and then they've just drew a line across and make it whatever they want. I think they've came out and says that there's not got enough cameras, and this is where it's got to get better. I mean, because at the end of the day, see when you're talking centimetres, it should be the case that you give the advantage to the attacker, right? Because I don't think he's gaining an advantage there with having a toenail in front of the player that he's up against. You know what I mean? It's just a bad decision. But I suppose with the laws of the game, it is what it is. But I really do hope what it says. I think it is getting looked at, this decision with the offside, that the advantage is going to eventually go to the attacker, because it will make it a better spectacle, I think, Robert and Jaya.
Yeah, it's how it used to be, isn't it? It's how it was in normal, wasn't it? Linesmen were told to give it to the attacker. And see if that is true, if we haven't got enough cameras. If we can't do it properly, we can't really be doing it, can we? You know, we need to either have everything in place or not have it at all.
That's it, Robert, isn't it? It's welcome to Scottish football.
Yeah, it is. You picked up on that Motherwell one. There was a game, I don't know if it was early in this season or end of last season, but the line was drew on the park, but the angle of the camera was at the far away goal. It was nowhere near in line with the defender. And how you can call an offside from angles like that, I don't understand. If it's about the camera positions, then you need to either, as James says, adjust them to have them all in line, or don't have them at all. It's going to be one of those where a decision is made and it really affects the outcome of a game. Obviously, it didn't last night for us because it was 3-0. But if you imagine that was 0-0, that's a key controversial point, because the line is not looking straight. And another thing as well, which I'm not a big fan of nowadays, see when a player is offside, they wait until the phase of play is over before the flag. It's an absolute horrible rule. It's going to take a player to get seriously injured for them to go back and change that. I think it's shocking. It's horrible.
No, I agree. Remember that happened to Golson, wasn't it? It was again, I'm sure under Beale it was that the odd play to continue, and Golson ended up getting injured for it or something like that.
Yeah, that was in the Europa League game, wasn't it?
Aye. Mm-hmm.
He got done, didn't he? I don't know who was. Yeah, it was the Europa League game, wasn't it? They let it carry on.
And it's that kind of way that the players can switch off in that passage of play as well, because they know it's offside, but what it says, if it wasn't, then they're allowing a team just to basically run out the park and score. I mean, I think what it says, I've heard, I think it was Wenger that's involved in it and stuff like that. What it says, they've got to have to look at it. But again, you need the technology. What it says, if you're turning up with half the equipment, then is it really any point in doing it? But I suppose it's another debate. We're going down a rabbit hole. It's about the Glasgow Rangers. But no, again, it did cut off a perfectly good goal for me. And again, Tom Lawrence showing his qualities, Jim. Good to see him getting back up to speed, and will be interesting in the coming weeks. Let's face it, I think it's only really Cantwell and Lawrence that's got to be challenging for that position. And it'll be a good headache for the manager. I think he's touched on that the headaches are coming now. But this is, it'll be good to have either one sitting on the bench ready to come on, because you're just adding quality to that bench now.
Yeah, I thought he had a really good second half. I thought he looked comfortable. He was looking fit. Some nice moves, even just some nice dummies. You're not touching the ball, but showing his vision. No, he had a good game. It'll be interesting to see. I think if you're looking for your two men in every position, obviously I think Lawrence has obviously shown in the past he can play out on the right as well. But I think you're looking at Cantwell and Lawrence in that position. And also, I don't know if Robert said it or it might have even been Joe Willicall, but I think Silva could drop back there as well. He's a tidy player. And if the managers want him to play Dessers and him, that could be an option as well, because Silva's a tidy and neat player and got pace. So that could be another option for that number 10 position as well.
I forgot about that. Because actually, he said that, and Silva said that in his interview. It's funny, isn't it? You come to Glasgow Rangers, you say in your interview that you're not a striker, and the next minute Clement's got you playing up front. And Robert, I mean, it's just mental. That, you shouldn't really open your mouth, because Clement's made this clear that he wants his players to be able to play in any position to solve puzzles.
Yeah, again though, it's if Silva says he's not an out-and-out striker, it doesn't mean that he can't play there. It's just probably he's not as comfortable up there on his own than he is maybe on the left or the right or in the 10 position. He did say that he's quite versatile, so if you can do it in the 10, I don't know the difference between 5 or 10 yards up the park. So it'll be interesting to see how he obviously utilises Silva in the coming weeks and games. And another player that could drop into the 10 for me would be wee Ross McCausland. I know he's been playing out in the right, but I think for the B team, Albert and Steve, Southside would probably agree or disagree with me here, but I think he plays in the 10 position for the B team when he was there, so he's another player that could be that central player should we actually require him at any point.
I think you're right, Robert. I think he's been one of these players as well that can come in and play and across that front line if he wants to. I think even was it last game? I seen him on the left as well. I mean, I think he is quite a versatile wee player. I just think as we are bringing up about players and all the rest of it, I think we're just personally, I still think we need something on that right side. How are you feeling about so far with this transfer window? Because we've not got long to go now in the show, and we've got long to go in the transfer window. But Jim, how are you feeling about it so far? Do you think there's going to be any more movement?
Obviously, I can't pretend to remember how to pronounce the guy's name. But obviously, it looks like we've got the signing coming in, centre attacking midfielder, which would be good added to us. But I'd like to see a little bit more, maybe at least one or two more. I would like to see one or two more. Thinking about it, I would like to see another striker come in, and I think I'd like to see another wide man come in. Like you say, I think we're just a little short in that area with the adaptability, because I'd like to see pace. Even though I know Lawrence can play out there, maybe on the right or both, I'd like to see us get a bit of pace out on the wings, especially with losing Big Seamer. So a striker and a wide man for me. I'd like to see, assuming that this midfielder's coming in, which it looks like, doesn't it?
I think we'll pass it to Robert, because I think Robert's able to pronounce this boy's name.
Mohamed Diomande.
Oh, class. Well done, mate. I think, Robert, for me, if I could get another Silva that could play on the right side to come in maybe on a loan, and we sign a proper striker, then I'd be over the moon with this transfer window.
Yeah, I reckon on top of the Diomande signing, I think at least another one for me, maybe two, depending if anyone else goes out the door. I've not really heard any rumours or mumblings other than Yilmaz leaving, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll take quite a bid to come in. I don't see it being a loan move if he was to leave, but in terms of incomings, probably just another striker plus Diomande, and then you've obviously got Silva in on loan. That sounds like a good window to me. I don't know if he will go for another wide player. I'm just thinking of, you've got McCausland on the right, you've got Matondo on the left, you've got Silva who could play either side. You've also got Scott Wright and Tom Lawrence there now as well. So I don't know if a wide player will be in his thoughts, but we never know. He's got his thinking hat on. He loves a challenge, so maybe he just goes into the market in the last coming days and pulls one out the hat for us.
Can I ask a question?
Aye, fire away, mate, fire away.
Would you, if it meant we could get someone in, would you return Big Seamer now on his loan? If it's going to be, if you knew, because what we're saying, 2 to 3 months. So end of January, 2 months, like middle of April, and he don't come back fully fit. If it's 2 to 3 months, like you're saying, would you return Seamer now? If you could get someone else in?
On permanent? On a permanent? Is it on a permanent deal?
I'm saying, so obviously we've only got Seamer on a loan at the moment, haven't we? If you forget about anything in the future, we've only got Seamer on a loan. Obviously, he's not going to be fit for another 2 to 3 months. Would you keep a bloke that you've only got on loan to the end of the season and have him being injured for 2 or 3 months? Or do you think if we are going to keep him, do you think that suggests he's staying longer term? Because it seems silly to me keeping a guy that might only be fit for a few more weeks.
Aye, true. I think if we can use another loan or something like that, then I would much rather we strengthened because I think, like Joe touched on earlier when he phoned in, I think we're going to need players to help us run the course, especially with all these competitions coming up, Robert.
I'd keep him around. Although it is the 2 to 3 months, I'd keep him around, and on that basis of if he returns, say April, mid to end of April, there's still a few games there to play for. There could be cup finals, there could still be European football. There's still games that he can be involved in. He's got 15 goals this season, so if we were to send him back, we would need to have somebody to come in and have the impact that he's had over the last few months. And I think if we do keep him from now until the end of the season, I think that may suggest that there may be something planned for Sima in the summer.
Aye. One thing I think about the transfer window, I think there's a bit of me that Rangers are going to do something on the last day. And it sounds silly, but I think it's just to, like, obviously they've had this player in mind, right? Scouted or whatever. But I've got a sneaky suspicion that we're going to try and grab the headlines on the kind of last day of the transfer window, because we seem in years previous we've been good at that, kind of signing a player on the transfer deadline day and stuff like that. And I do think it's quite smart sometimes that we put our name up in lights. You know what I mean? So I do think there will be kind of more movement, like come near the end of the window, rather than like I says this weekend coming up kind of thing. Thoughts, boys?
Anyone in mind?
Well, I think we'll test the water with Shankland anyway before the window shuts. That's what I think. Jim?
Many would disagree with me, but I think so as well. I think we'll see how, I think it's documented they don't need the money, but let's see when they're being asked. And also, it seems like he's been conducting himself in the right way, but if a player does want to go, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Robert?
I think we will test the water, but whether he comes or not, I don't know. The later it gets on towards the window, the less likely I'm thinking it will happen, and he's got a plan B in mind, who may or may not just be that wee extra spark that Shankland doesn't have, or he might fit into the profile more.
I don't think they'll be accepting Alex Lowry as payment anyways, will they?
No. Right, boys, we're 2 minutes away from finishing. Final thoughts from yourself, JM?
Good show tonight, guys. Good to have Joe on. As I caught no call before, but good to have him back on again. Some good points he raised. Positive result, and hopefully it continues in the weekend. Looking forward to Saturday.
Yep, well said. Robert?
Yep, good to be back on the Perry's, and a good show. Joe made some good points in his call earlier on, but we do need callers, guys. So if you're sitting there thinking of thoughts, give us a call. Let us hear them. But thanks for having us tonight, boys. We enjoyed it.
Well said. Brisbane Bear, we did try to get your wee phone back, so that says hopefully either tomorrow or one of the other shows, just give us a call, mate, and we'll try and get you on. Big thanks to Joe for phoning in. Some great points that he made, and I says he was nervous, but I says he came across really well. So I says you're more than welcome, Joe, anytime to give us a wee phone. Big thanks to the boys in the background, the techie team, Fox and Old School Blue. Big thanks to Ox on the phones tonight. And a big thanks to you two. There's been great points made and great discussion there, the team and the match last night. A great Rangers victory. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night, where you'll be joined with the whole team. Thanks for joining us. Good night.